Tashae Crossland, and I graduated from Oakland Technical High in 2003, 11 years ago. We had our 10-year reunion last year. One of the things that I was born and raised in Oakland. I went to Longfellow Elementary, Claremont Middle School, and Oakland Tech for 4 years. A lot of the friends that I made were from middle school, and we all still became friends in high school. I'm still in touch with a lot of my friends from middle school and high school, so that's good. Most of my family, I'm the first person in my family to go to Oakland Tech. Most of my family went to McClymonds, so I'm a proud Bulldog. I also went to California State University, Fresno, for my undergrad degree, which Fresno State is also Bulldog, so I'm a Bulldog for life. And most of my family is born and raised here in Oakland. I lived in North Oakland most of my high school. I moved to East Oakland in 11th grade, but I still attended Tech. So, proud Bulldog alumnus.
How long has your family lived in Oakland?
My family has lived here pretty much all their lives. My mother was born here in Oakland. My dad went to Skyline, but he was born in another state, but he was here in high school, so pretty much all their lives. My grandparents, same thing. My grandparents went to high school in McClymonds as well, so we're all in Oakland.
and why did you decide to come to Oakland Tech instead of McClymonds?
Oh, well, I came to Tech because my grandmother made me. She didn't want me to go to McClymonds. She attended McClymonds, and she said, no, you're going to go to Tech. Plus, I went to Claremont, so it wasn't really that far away. I lived right down on 40th Street anyway. I grew up on 40th Street, so it was just like really local, and my grandma was like, you're going to go to Tech because it's a good school. So, and plus they have the Health Academy.
Okay. So talk a little bit about the Health Academy and any other specific kind of memories you have of the teachers, of programs, of classes, and maybe your friends.
So I joined the Health Academy in 10th grade. A lot of my friends, we all went through the program together. I loved it. Actually, 2 of my teachers are still here. Mr. DeLayhew, which is the head of the Health Academy, he's still here, and Miss Haugen is still here as well. They're still in the same classrooms. Mr. Brooks retired maybe about 3 or 4 years ago, but he was still here, just recently. So I actually took what I learned from the Health Academy into my undergrad college career, because I studied public health in undergrad, and what I learned from the internships in my Health Academy classes helped me transition into my public health classes at Fresno State. And so I did internships there. I did internships in college, and I would say I was very prepared for my undergrad when I joined the public health degree. I'm also doing a master's in public health right now too. So, and I also got a chance to work with Mr. DeLayhew with his class. I'm going to come and do some health education with his students, like a little way to give back and to show that I was a student right here in the Health Academy, and I'm still practicing health.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Where are you working?
Right now I'm working at a credit union, but I'm working while I'm in school, so that once I get out of school, then I can transition more fully into my career.
And where are you getting your MPH?
Doing my MPH at Argosy University in Alameda. So I'm still local. I moved back to Oakland from Fresno when I graduated, the year that I graduated in 2008. So I've been here since 2000. I've been working since 2008. So, yeah.
Kind of remember?
So one of my classes that I absolutely loved was my anatomy and physiology class I took with Mr. DeLayhew. And we dissected a chicken. I think we dissected a frog or a pig or something. But we did some dissections, which prepared me for my anatomy classes in undergrad, which I didn't know at the time it was going to be doing that. But I'll be thinking, oh my gosh, the hallways sting. We don't want to touch these animals. But so I remember doing dissections in that class. I also took Mr. DeLayhew in my 12th grade year for HP biology, I believe. So I was well into the Health Academy. I did an internship at the West Oakland Health Center in the Health Education Department. And I also did an internship where I worked at Samuel Merritt University, near Samuel Merritt Hospital. Summit Hospital. So those type of things prepared me for my internships that I did in college. When I came back for the summer of 2005, I did an internship at UC Berkeley School of Public Health, which I didn't know all these things were tying in together. I didn't have an initial thought to go into public health. I was going to go into nursing. I didn't know what public health was, even though I was working at the Department of Public Health. But as I got more into my classes, I realized that public health was more for me, and I started right here, which is crazy because I did the internship in the health education department, and I didn't even know that I was in public health even in 10th grade. So that worked for me. I have very fond memories of anatomy and physiology because I love the science classes. I also have fond memories of Mr. Brooks' class, his world history class in 10th grade. We had to do a project on famine. I did a project on famine in Somalia. We did a lot of research on that and worked out pretty well. So I remember having Mr. Brooks a couple times for econ and government. So those classes stick out to me. I really love those classes. I did well. So Oakland Tech was really, really fun for me. I went to my junior and senior proms, which we were the class 2003 who actually had a junior prom, because class 02 didn't have a junior prom. We raised money, we went out and got sponsors, we did all these things to make sure that we had a junior prom. So we had a junior prom, we had a senior ball on the yacht, we did a cruise around the bay, which our class came together and we kind of sponsored it and did fundraisers, and we made this happen for ourselves. So we're really proud of that. Along with our sponsors, Mr. Brooks and Miss Nixon Holton. She was another health academy teacher. I didn't have her, but I know her well. She's one of our sponsors for that. So I did that. I did the all the dances, the homecoming dances, the winter dances, spring dances, the football games. I remember going to all the football games. Taking the bus over to Skyline, to Oakland High, Castle Mountain. So those were a lot of fun. I have a lot of memories of my friends, us leaving school a little bit early to catch the bus down to the other home games, the away games. So those are fun. I was very active in high school, so I kind of did a little bit of everything. I volunteered with the American Lung Association and with the American Red Cross in a program called Oakland Kicks Asthma, which was part of the Health Academy. We did a health education, peer education for teaching people about asthma and how to treat it. And because I have asthma myself, so I was kind of like an advocate for that, and with the air quality in the Bay Area, things like that. So the Health Academy really prepared me for a lot. I do give a lot of credit to it, because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have been able to do those things with the Red Cross and with the American Lung Association. And now I'm actually volunteering with the American Heart Association for heart disease and stroke awareness as part of my MPH. So I had a lot of fun. Had a lot of friends. We, cut class and went to Burger King, and which is still there. We actually had a Pizza Hut when I was there, so I used to go to Pizza Hut like every day at lunch. We had off-campus lunch, so donut shop, Safeway, the whole thing, Starbucks. We did it all. We had a ball.
How else, other than the Pizza Hut and the places that aren't there anymore, how else has the neighborhood changed in the last 10 years? Has it changed? I
don't think the neighborhood has changed as much. I mean, Tech did a remodel, which was really well. I've been inside and looks really good. The exterior looks good. So, but as far as the neighborhood, I haven't lived out here in quite some time, so I don't frequent out here as much as I used to. But from what I can tell, I mean, it looks good. I like the landscape, and the lawn looks a lot better than what it was when we were here. I see a lot more kids out here having lunch on the lawn than when I was in high school. I can say that. I definitely can say that. I haven't seen the football field, but we actually got a new football field when I was here. So the football field was new 11 years ago. I think maybe when I was in 10th or 11th grade, so maybe 12 years ago. So it was new back then for us.
It's the same one. It's not very new anymore.
Yeah, well, for us it was new.
Yeah,
We actually had our graduation back when the Henry J. Kaiser Convention Center was open. So we had our graduation at the Henry J. Now they have them at the Paramount, but we had it at the Henry J. And before that, it was on the football field. So I think the class before mine, or two classes before mine, it was the last class on the football field. So, but now, the Henry J. is not even open anymore. So the graduation at Paramount. But I remember having my graduation at the Henry J. it was fun. It was fun. I love my graduation, so I like it out here. So again, I was class 2003. When I was here, actually I went to elementary with Marshawn Lynch, and he was a student here. I went to elementary with him and high school with him. He was in class of 04, but you know, everybody knows him. He's real big now, doing really good things for the community. He's rooted in his community. I know him personally. He's a fun guy. But I could say I remember him back then when he was little Marshawn in elementary. So he stayed local. He did. He went to Cal for college, and then he got drafted. But he's not actually too far now. He's only in Washington. So I was here when he was here. Also, Josh Johnson was a student here when I was a student, and also Leon Poe, which I actually graduated Leon. He was a Boston Celtics championship. I think it was in 2007. I want to say, but I graduated with Leon. So, and I don't know what he's doing now, but he's probably overseas. But I was here. They were there. They were doing big things, really good for the community. Josh and Marshawn, and so those are fond memories. Running around with them in the hallway, joking around in the basement, running around at lunch. I remember watching him in the games, and he was actually on the basketball team too. And I said, "That's not your sport. Football is your sport. Stick to football." But he played basketball too, which people probably don't even know. Marshawn was on the court as well as on the field. So I was here, and all that was going on. So I'm pretty proud to be a part of that. Like I said, I went to elementary with him, so I've been knowing him for a very long time. We're from the same neighborhood. So that was part of my Oakland Tech experience. Just having fun. Seeing everybody grow up.
What else are you, again, kind of in the theme of the whole Centennial, and what else kind of makes you proud to be a Oakland Tech grad and a Bulldog?
Well, I'm proud because Tech is still here. For instance, my elementary school is not even here anymore. Right down the street on 40th, but Oakland Tech has been here about 100 years, and it's growing, it's thriving. A lot of teachers spend a lot of time here. Like I said, Mr. DeLay, he's still here. He's been here about 30 years. Mr. Brooks spent about 30, 40 years here as a teacher. As a student, he was a student here as well. Miss Haugen still here, Miss Nixon Holton. I don't know if Mr. O'Keefe is still here, but I'm proud because a lot of teachers, they stick with it. A lot of things happen with the school board and with the cuts in education, but they're still here, they're still working. Tech is still here, it's still standing up. It's one of the biggest schools of the 6 high schools in Oakland. It's one of the biggest, one of the most diverse, which I was really proud of, because when you think about the high school, you think, oh, it's a certain group here, a certain group here. But Oakland Tech was so diverse. I had so many different friends from so many different walks of life. So I'm really glad they're still here, that they're doing maintenance, trying to keep it up, trying to keep up with the times. A lot of other schools are being broken apart into smaller schools. I mean, it's easy for this to happen here, but for instance, like Castlemont is smaller schools, Fremont is smaller schools, McClymonds is smaller schools, but Oakland Tech is still here in one school, still diverse, still have the Health Academy thriving, still have other academies thriving. So I'm real proud of it, but I'm gonna be a Bulldog, the rest of my life. Like I said, I went to Fresno State, so I was a Bulldog there too. So this is part of me. This is part of my home. This is where I've been most of my life, if not all. So it's good to see it's still here, it's still going strong.
That's great.
So one thing that I will never forget is 9th grade year in gym class is where I met my first love, my high school sweetheart. I had one of my friends introduce me to him. Even though when I saw his name on the roster, I kept thinking, wow, his name sounds familiar, his face doesn't look familiar, but his name sounds so familiar. Turns out I went to elementary with him in kindergarten. And who would have thought that from kindergarten, I would see him again in 9th grade, 10 years later. But we became really good friends, and he became my high school boyfriend, and we were really close. Even after high school, we still remained really close friends. We had a lot of friends in common, a lot of mutual friends in common. And sadly, he's departed this life, but I still remember him. He always been my first love. He'll always be my high school sweetheart. So that's one of my special friends that I remember from Oakland Tech, is just, having that one person. And he wasn't the only one, but he was the first, my high school sweetheart. So the fact that he's departed now, he's deceased, is kind of sad, but I can say that, I did that. Oakland Tech I was a part of that with Oakland Tech. Had I went to different school, I wouldn't have known him, I wouldn't have met him, and who knows, who I would have met. But he was a really good friend, and we remained friends up until his death. So I still keep in touch with a lot of our mutual friends, a lot of my high school friends I still talk to on a day-to-day, text, email, Facebook. So it's really good to still be in touch. I know so many people who are not in touch with people, and they say, oh, I haven't seen her in 15 years, but I can still say I just seen her 2 weeks ago, or her brother, I went to his church, or whatever. So it's still kind of all together, still kind of all based in Oakland. But I'm glad to say I have a lot of friends that I met in high school I'm still friends with to this day. So
you said you went to your 10-year reunion.
We had our 10-year reunion, but we didn't. I was on the planning committee, but it didn't go well. A lot of our classmates live out of state. They went to school out of state and kind of stayed there. So it didn't happen. I'm hoping maybe we have a 15 or a 20. But it was fun planning it. It was good to see people who I hadn't seen since high school, literally since graduation, trying to come together and plan it together. And actually, I kind of was on the committee because one of my friends had a baby, so she had to step down, and I kind of took her place, but that wasn't my plan. But hopefully we can still have one in maybe 15. So the fact that Tech has been here for 100 years is actually a remarkable thing. We produce a lot of scholars, a lot of people who have done really well for the community and has given back. I want to encourage people from all of the classes, current students, former students, from the 2000 classes, the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, whoever, to try to give back. I mean, this is the big thing. It's a big deal. There's going to be events going throughout the year and throughout next year. I really encourage people to, if you want this to still be here for your kids, for your grandkids, for your great-grandchildren, I really encourage, people to give back. I mean, Oakland Tech has given a lot to the community. It's a landmark here in Oakland. It wasn't always in this location, I don't think, but the fact that it's been here this long, the programs that they have going on, the sports programs, the teachers are really dedicated to the students, and I would just encourage everybody to give back any way you can. Attend the events, be a vendor if you have a business that you want to kind of get off the ground, or get marketing, networking is big. We can all kind of stick together and work together to make this home for the next generations. I mean, 100 years, it can be here another 100 years. I mean, there are schools and buildings that have been around for 200 years, 150 years. So I just want to encourage everybody to give back. I mean, each class, as you have your reunions every year and you think about what it takes to bring those to fruition, it's the same thing with the Centennial. Get on the website, go on Facebook. I'm sure there's a page on Facebook. Word of mouth is big. Tell your friends to check the emails, check the Oakland Tech website. There's a link there for the Centennial celebrations. Just give back. Just help Oakland keep this landmark here and up and running for the next future generations, because it's very important. It's a really good school, and I learned a lot. I don't know about everybody else, but I learned a lot. This was the school that I was going to go to from the beginning. So I encourage everybody to give back any way they can, by volunteering, by monetary, by attending events, things like that. It's really important.
Great. The last message.
Go Bulldogs. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is my senior shirt from 2003. This was the front, and this is the back. It had all of our names, everybody's names, and we worked really hard to get the names of all our classmates and get the names into the 03. So all the whole class names are inside, and all our shirts were designed by students. We have some very, very talented students in my class, artistic wise. Sam Kane is one of the ones. He is amazing in art. And Kendall was one of our classmates, and he did really well too in art. He's very artistic. This was my junior shirt, 11th grade. This is the front, juniors, and we had our little logo at the bottom. Our logo for our junior year was doing bigger and better things. And then here's the back of the shirt. So it has 02, 03, 04, and 05 who were here when I was 11th grade. And then, oh, this is the same. This is just a different version of the senior shirts. So we just have just the regular t-shirt, and then we have the baseball shirt. That's what it is. So it's the same one. We just had a baseball. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
Very cool. Awesome. Got some video of that. Let me take the